pride be the reason that you lose. Don't let pride be the reason that you lose.
What's up, y'all? This is the Plain Black Rapper Podcast, and I'm your host, Nytelife. Welcome to episode 55. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube for Mitchell Media Review, Plain Black Rapper Podcast. Subscribe, share. Please comment, interact with the content. If you want to listen to this podcast for audio purposes, you can go to Apple Podcasts, and you can also go to Spotify. We are wherever you get your podcast. So thank you for joining us. Us meaning me. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support that I've had. And, as usual, we'll get into that. As you see on the ticker on the bottom, there is some dope merchandise that's there. You can get, Plain Black Rapper Podcast hoodies. You can get Nytelife hoodies. You can get a beanie. There's all kinds of stuff. So please support that, because all of this goes back into the content to be able to take care of the things that I need to take care of. So I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And let's get on with the show. Generally, these podcasts that I do, Plain Black Rapper Podcast, I've tried to kind of gear it towards, music and music business and stuff like that. But sometimes I just like to get in my personal bag and talk about some things that's relatable to not only me, but still my principles as far as how I kind of carry myself out here in business, in just life in general and stuff like that. Today's podcast is going to be talking about reverence. Very, very important. Reverence is a very, very important tool. You have to have reverence for people that help to get you here. You have to have reverence for God, of course. You have to have reverence for your family that allows you to be able to do the things that you do. And then just love in general. It's very important to be able to have those things and to have people to be supportive of you. Some of the things about reverence that's pretty cool is that when you make it, those people that really helped you get there are often the ones that are cheering you on. They're the ones that's congratulating you. Those are the ones that's giving you your flowers. Those are the ones that have appreciation and giving you credit for things. Sometimes we operate in a space where we kind of expect that the reverence that we give, the respect that we give, the honor that we give to people, we expect them to be able to reciprocate that. That's wrong. I kind of live in that space sometimes, and I put myself at risk when I do that, because I always had an expectation that if I treat somebody good, or I treat people good in respect, honor, acknowledge, things like that, and I expect those things to come back to you, or what I'm saying, people to have appreciation for that, and they don't. Not everybody operates on the same accord. I had these conversations with Sandman, a brother named George, St. Francis, all the time in regards to when you're out and you're conducting yourself, you're conducting business, you're doing things out here, you're operating in this space, you're operating in the content space, you're doing music business, doing podcasts, and people are not going to honor that, because people are a lot of times are tied up so much into the competition aspect, and they look at what you do and they feel that they can do a lot better than what you can, as opposed to, respecting and tipping the cap. I try to respect and tip the cap to whoever is doing the same things that's in the fields that I'm doing, or whoever it is that sat down and gave me game when I needed it. I try to make sure that I pay my respects to them. And also when they have things to be able to support and to put, throw my weight behind my little weight that I have out here too, to be able to be that difference, because I could be the difference between them gaining 1, 5, 10, 20 fans for what it is that they're doing. And, we just can't have the expectation of the same, because they don't operate in that manner. Especially when you're operating in this situation where people will look at you and go, well, I can do better than that. I can do better than that. And they silently do that. In your face, they still talk good to you and try to make it seem like y'all homies or whatever, and dap you and all that stuff and make you feel good. But on the backside of that, they're in the back rooms talking shit and wanting to try to find ways to be able to undermine you at any turn. But they still want to be able to have the love and adoration and appreciation that you give them. which is weird. Um, my mom told me a long time ago, it's like you got to feed people with a long handle spoon, and you have to take the rose colored glasses off at a point to be able to see things for what they are. So when you see people moving or operating in a different manner, and you see people that are smiling in your face and treating you good, and then behind your back they're cutting your legs off from underneath you, you have to understand that that is just part of the game. And as long as you see it and know it and understand it, then you have to start adjusting your expectations. You start adjusting your behavior as well. You have to be more vigilant. You have to, look at the details, start making sure that you're keeping notes, look at the fine print on shit when you're dealing with people. It's hard. You try to fight those expectations because, you in a sense of where you want to love people and you want people to love you back. And not everybody's gonna love you back. They just not. They don't have your best interest. They have their best interest. They don't have your best interest. And when I'm spoiled because of the simple fact that I have a circle where my circle has my best interests. I don't have a doubt that any of my people don't have my best interests. I don't have a doubt that any of my family members have my best interests. It's just weird that when you try to extend that, because you feel that, man, you know what? I could really grow my circle if I just extend that to other people. But you can't extend those privileges to other people like that because they will just use it and take advantage of it. They're going to run you over. They're going to think you soft. They're going to think you a pushover, and they're going to try to take it from you. They want you to live in that space of uncertainty and grief and despair and questioning yourself and questioning what it is that you do. All the meantime, they are using you to propel themselves in another circle. They want to be the cool kids in that circle, and they want to be the ones that's the high society with the pinkies up and talking shit about you behind your back. And they get together, and everybody gets together to do that. But once you understand that and you learn to play the game and you keep your composure, things will work out better in the end. It'll give you better perception. It'll give you better understanding. Equip you with more tools to be able to deal with stuff. And again, learn from the experience. Me, I'm a learner that has to put his hands on things. And sometimes you're going to have to break things to be able to put them back together and figure out how they got broken and fix things. I'm not a read it out the manual guy and work off of that. I've never been that. I'm a person that has the experience and that has to trial and error, that has to fail, that has to succeed, but all through action, because reading and listening it's not enough for me. I have to do it. Every tool that I have learned over the course of music, podcasting is things that I have been in the room to be able to experience with other people or I taught myself. And when you're of that ilk, then you start to understand that you have to go through these experiences. You have to be in difficult rooms and deal with difficult people and deal with the crowd that don't necessarily like you. You've been at shows where you've been booed or people not paying attention to what you're doing. You out there giving your heart out on stage, and they walking around socializing and don't even care about what you're doing. But you still have to continue. That used to be the fun part of me and Saint when we was on stage. We had those moments. It's like, hey, if the crowd ain't rocking with you, fucking turn to each other, man, and start rocking to each other. Then just do that. Turn your negative into a positive. Just do those type of things, because it's not always going to be great. The road is not always going to be smooth. The people are not always going to treat you with reverence and understanding and love and appreciation and adoration. They're not always going to do that. You got to get your cup filled from other places. When you leave situations, I know that I can come to my kids will restore my faith in humanity. My wife will restore my faith in humanity just by having conversations and seeing things from a different perspective. Picking up the phone and calling one of my people, always have a different perspective and provide understanding. And that's what you need. You need good folks around you to be able to do that, because they balance out all of that bullshit that you have to deal with. They balance that out when the people that don't have your best interests are doing things to undermine. People that see your movement and they want to undercut your movement because they're jealous that you have a movement and they don't have one. Or they want to steal your movement. And they want to steal your IP. They want to take your ideas. They want to refurbish what you got. They want to do people are just, we're in the world today where that is just, it's just common. People don't want to see you with nothing and want to see themselves with everything because they feel entitled to that. They don't understand it's a big enough world for us to all be able to share what we need to share. We don't need to be 1%ers. There's enough out here for everybody. There's enough room in the podcasting space for folks. There's enough room in beat battle culture. Enough room for that. Enough room for rhymers and rappers. Enough room for people to do stuff. You can create your own niche in your own space. You don't have to be just trying to hoard situations or just be boxing people out for the simple fact that you feel like if I can't have it, they can't have it. It's crazy behavior. It's nonsensical. But again, you cannot expect people to treat you the way that you treat them. Just not. Build these pedestals and give them credit, give them love, give them adoration, appreciation. For what? That scale will never be tilted back to even or to be in your favor when it comes to those things, because they don't operate that way. They don't come from that. They're not used to that. They don't have people in their life and they circle that do that. They don't have builders around them. Their situation may be negative as hell. Interactions they may have had with other human beings in other situations may have been hurtful and selfish. So they project that on you. You have to take a moment to be able to see that and understand that, but you got to take a moment to protect yourself from that as well. And just being smart and moving along. But I'm a Cancer. I take shit personal. I shouldn't take it personal, but I take things personal sometimes. And it's like, there's a level of intelligence that I have to use to be able to excel past that. And building up a defense mechanism to allow people not to be close enough to be able to hurt you in those situations because of you trying to extend that reverence to them. Can't. Put your pro ball cap on and just keep it moving. Can't even let them affect you. Nah, I see what you're doing. It's cool though. See you on the other side. Peace. Don't rock in the space, but don't let them dominate your space either. Sometimes people just need a good checking. You just got to check their ass. And once you do that, you draw the line, you draw the barrier, you establish the boundary. Then things may be treated differently. it may not still be a cool situation, but at least they know that they can't play with you like that. So you have to be able to establish that, hey, I can take your shit up to a certain point, but knock it off. I'm about done with this. Draw that line. They cross it. Gotta bust their ass. Period. Then it will allow you to feel better about where you are. It will allow you to move on. It will allow you to, it takes weight off your shoulder. It takes that expectation. You don't have the weight of expectation for somebody to act a certain way. You don't have to sit here and try to figure out how you're going to respond to things. You just, hey, like I said, they just need a good check-in. Got to slap them around. Let them know what time it is. Hey, I'm not going to tolerate this shit. We got up to this point. It was cool. I entertained you long enough. Enough with the bullshit. I got to go. Or you got to go. Really? No, I don't got to go. You got to go because you in my space with that shit. It's been a fun ride, man. I learn more and more wherever I go, whatever I do. These life experiences, creeping up close to 50, and to go through these life experiences. And I remember watching my dad as he aged and he's seeing things. And my dad always talked in the language of teachable moments for me. We were never current. Our conversations were never about current things. Our conversation was, if there was about a current thing, it was something in the past that he had been through that applied to that situation so you can learn from it, which is the thing that I appreciated about my dad the most, because no matter how times change and how things change, there will always be difficult moments that people go through that will be relatable to whatever it is that your struggle is currently. My father did a really great job of that with raising me and my sisters and putting us in that situation. When it would come down to it, he always had a story. He always had a scenario, or he always had things that he wasn't too good to be able to expose when he had been on some bullshit, to share that. And I try to do that with my kids now too, is when I go through, when they're going through things, and I try to let them know that, I was not always a saint, or I'm not this great person or whatever. I did some things that probably are not, that are not considered cool, but I exposed them to that, to let them know, because sometimes the things that you did that weren't so good is an opportunity for them to learn, not only for them to not do it, but for them to see it coming. The life lesson out of it is the most important thing, not the action itself, not the scenario, not the situation itself, but the actual thing for them to see coming. And that's what I teach. That's what I use to teach them, as my dad did for me. That's the one thing that he taught me, was using those scenarios and using those things as far as what's going on in his life to be able to set me up to go, okay, don't fall in this hole. I did this. It ain't no point in you doing that, because this is what the result's going to be. So if you trying to retread that wheel, go right ahead, because you're going to fall right in the same trap. And I have appreciation for that. And I try to approach my interactions with my kids, my interactions on any mentorships that I have for anybody. When I'm bringing people along, I try to make sure that I paint those pictures for them to see that, to help them along, because that's important. And that's part of the thing that I love about just being out here, man. And it's like my expectations, just to kind of turn it in the direction of music, my expectations are not, I don't have the same expectations that I had once anymore. So it changes. I do things because this is art, creativity. It's the things I love. I do this because I love it. I do this because I want it to be a catalog for my kids to be able to access my voice whenever I'm gone. I say that a lot. Not to get here, not to be famous, not to be rich, but to continue to build my catalog as my voice, as something that my kids can reach for when they need it. I wish I could have had the opportunity with my dad and my mom to hear their voice whenever I can. I mean, I'm sure we got some VHS tapes and stuff like that that I can always go back and, watch as far as them partying, stuff like that. But it's a lot different when you start talking about game and advice and art and stuff like that. I just want my kids to have that. And maybe this will teach them to be able to make sure that they have stuff in the annals for their kids when it's time for them, because of just how important that may be for them. I'm just happy that I am where I am now. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. My children are healthy. I'm relatively healthy myself. My wife's healthy. Um, my family, extended family, are all in good health, wealth, and spirits. So I just want to continue to build. I want to continue to take advantage of this space, take advantage of doing these things. Hopefully people get things out of these. Even if it's just one or two, it's fine. I don't care. Was hung up on viewership and subscriptions and who's watching. The people that watch will reach out. Man, I felt that. Thank you. That was cool. What you said about such and such and such. I love it. That's when that means the most to me, more than seeing my views go through the roof or seeing my listens go through the roof. There's the people that are commenting. That's why it's important for you to comment in these spaces. Give me feedback. Too much, too little. This didn't mean nothing. This meant a lot. Whatever. Share the comments. That's the value for me. Talk back. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm definitely cool with that all the time. And I got to be more active on live too, because I don't live enough, and I think I'm gonna start doing that a lot more. It's been real fun, a real fun experience to do these lives and talk to folks out there and kind of just share a lot of stuff that I'm going through too. Not to be too exposed too much, or just to be, hey, look at me, I'm eating a donut. Like, I don't want to no shit like that, but I do want to make sure that when it comes down to certain things and certain topics and stuff like that, I want to be more interactive with folks and try to kind of pick their brain and figure out what's what and just throw things out there along with the new music. So let me go ahead and do my shameless plugs. Down at the bottom of the screen, you can pick up the merch. You can get a hoodie, you can get a beanie, you can get a t-shirt. Plain Black Rapper Podcast, Nytelife, got a couple album cover shirts on there. Check it out. You want to hear music, you want to see more about what it is that I do, nytelife3200.com. That's my website. You can go there and check, and it's just have fast links to be able to get to wherever you need to get to and kind of tell my story a little bit. My bio's up there, so you can kind of see where I came from, where I'm at now. That's great. Gauntlet Beat Battle, April 18th. We are back. Season 6. You know, I'm a judge on there along with my brother Lens Pride, along with my brother Sandman and Big Bro Focus. Thank you so much for still allowing me to be able to rock in that space. It is one of the best things that I could possibly be doing in my life right now because I get so much out of it. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have a good time with that. I tell you this much. It damn sure wouldn't be no Plain Black Rapper podcast. It wouldn't be no What the Podcast. It would be no 4-Bar Loop. It wouldn't be no Gauntlet Access. It wouldn't be none of that without the Gauntlet Beat Battle. Because I was able to learn tools from that to apply here and make this better. All of the stuff that you see going on in the background and stuff like that is because Sandman taught me that. He taught me how to do all of this stuff. So much appreciation to him. And again, that's the pioneer. This wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be doing this stuff if it wasn't for him to be able to show me the extensions to be able to do all of this stuff. So thank you. I appreciate you, man. I think it's about that time as far as being able to get out of here. 2 more things. You can go to Spotify and listen to these podcasts if you want. You can go to Apple Music to listen to these podcasts if you want. Apple Podcasts. For music concern, hey, I got Counterpunches out there, single from Nytelife, featuring St. Francis, and then the Overseer single, Panoramic, that's out there floating around too. C4, my project with Rage will be coming out on April 1st. That will not be April Fool's. That's actually going to come out April 1st. So I appreciate y'all, respect y'all, love y'all. Difficult roads often lead to most beautiful destinations. Shoot your shot, go for the win. You might make it. Peace.